What's going on? My name is Russ Hawkins, and here's another video for you guys to understand a little bit more of why you're dealing with tightness, stiffness, or any pain. So this video is all about nervous system threat. So when we are tight, it's not because you need to stretch the muscle. It's actually your nervous system saying that you need to strengthen the muscle to feel strong and in control. Another thing is when we are feeling instability within the nervous system, it is completely guarded, thus dealing with pain and discomfort. But the source of the pain not necessarily is that targeted area. It really is the full system. So I'm going to break it down for you, going over a little bit of the educational side to what you may or may not be dealing with. So to start, we're going to go over to the psoas. So when your psoas is locked here, as you can see, it is covered from T12 to the lumbar spine, to the front of the pelvis. And what it does is guards the spine and the hip. And its functionality allows hip flexion, but when it's also locked, it leads to lumbar compression. So what you see then in the effect of that is that your pelvis is pulled forward, going into an anterior pelvic tilt. So you're going to feel deep front hip or backache throughout that process. So I'm going to go through a little bit of things that you can release, mobilize, and strength with it. So you want to do a psoas ball release. You're going to put a lacrosse ball, not a tennis ball, it's a little too hard, but a lacrosse ball in the section right on the inside of your hip. You're going to lay on the lacrosse ball and focus on really deep inhale breaths, slow exhale. We're going to release that tension because the muscle is in a spasm. What we're going to do next is go into the mobility portion, and that's a half kneeling hip flexor guide. So you're going to be half kneeling, you're going to lunge forward. I like to put my arms up just like this and tilt backwards. We're extending the psoas, releasing some of that tension. And then to strengthen it is a exercise that is very simple but effective called the dead bug. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is the glute med. So the glute med, as you can see here, is really whole purpose of it is to stabilize single leg balance. Now, what happens is you're going to notice that when the glute med is super tight or not properly functioning, you're going to have lateral hip gripping and an altered gait. So you won't be able to walk as we normally should with our gait. Next, what you're going to notice is that your pelvis hikes or it drops, thus leading to a shorter leg on one side. And the symptom to that is outer hip pain and fatigue, even if you're just walking. And we're going to go over a release. Release is a glute med foam roll. Really, we're going to break up some of that fascia, go into mobilizing. So we're going to do hip airplanes. Again, we're just loosening up the area for allowing the hip to function properly in its socket. And then we're going to strengthen it. So side lying abduction. Okay? So what follows next, if you watch my previous video of the 3 chain muscles that cause reoccurring back pain, number 3 is key, and this is the QL, the quadratus lumborum. And the Y is it splints the trunk from side bending thread. Okay, so this is really good in terms of spinal stability. What you're going to notice is that you're going to feel your rib and pelvis feel like it's compressed, and you're going to feel a lot of tension on your side. Now, what you're also going to notice is one side of your back is going to feel like it's always loading rather than the other side. And that's going to lead to one-sided low back tightness. Now, how do we release that is a quadratus lumborum manual release. You can lay on your side and just focus on deep, intuitive breathing. Again, opening up the rib cage, opening up the diaphragm to allow the spasm of the muscle to relax. Next, we're going to do a child's pose. But in the child's pose, you're going to lean away from your arms to really feel a deep stretch from the low back all the way up to your lat. And to strengthen it is suitcase carry. So you're going to walk nice, slow, and controlled, keeping a dumbbell or kettlebell on one side of your body, trying to resist the urge to lean towards the weight or away from the weight. Now, number 4, we're going to go into multifidus lock and the Y. So the multifidus muscle It protects spinal segments of the spine. The what, it's focusing on the segmental bracing and reduced glide. So what you're gonna feel if that's really tight is that there's stiffness that spreads nearby on the low back. And it's gonna feel really local, but also deep amongst the spine, not on the surface level. So what we're gonna do is a paraspinal ball release to relax the muscle in spasm. Again, rolling on a lacrosse ball, it allows the muscle fascia to break up, but I want you to also keep it in certain positions and take really deep breaths into the lacrosse ball. Next, we're gonna do cat-cow. Again, we're mobilizing the spine, increasing blood flow, and then strengthen it. So we're gonna do a bird dog. I want you to hold that extension for about 5 to 10 seconds each side. Next, we're gonna run into the thoracolumbar fascia. And what that looks like locked is it's your global support sling tension, okay? So it stiffens the trunk transfer. So when that's really stiff, we're not able to produce enough force through the legs to the upper torso because you feel like no matter what you do, your back is gonna overcompensate and you're gonna brace yourself for impact. The whole system, so transferring force, like I just mentioned, through the pelvic girdle, through your lower half to your upper half, it becomes less efficient overall. And you're gonna feel broad low back stiffness throughout. How we release that, we're gonna foam roll the lats and the flanks. So right above the glutes, we're gonna mobilize it. So I want you to put a foam roller between your legs, lying on one side, and you're gonna rotate over. Try and leave the arm on the ground while rotating over. Again, we're mobilizing the full spine. And to strengthen that, we're gonna do cable chops, okay? So cable chops is a great core exercise. Now, we do have fascial slings in our body, posterior oblique system along with anterior oblique system. The cable chop strengthens the core, thus the lower back and trunk are a part of the core, okay? So what do we notice on the recovery path? Now, step one, we want to reduce threat, okay? So how we do that is being in tune with our diaphragm, which is our breathing. We want to notice what we're noticing in the body. If you feel stiffness, if you feel pain anywhere, I want you to pause, identify it, but also focus on your breathing because it allows the nervous system to calm down and the muscle to calm down in spasm. Step two into recovery is restoring motion. So we want to restore motion in the hip, the pelvis, and your ribs. Step three, we want to rebuild control. So graded load, you're going to load the muscles through strength exercises, but progressively. So I'm not saying jump into heavy lifting right away, but we want to progressively get to the point where your nervous system feels really strong, but an end range really in control of movements. Step four is improve tissue tolerance. So this will include a lot of isometric holds. This will include a lot of time under tension. Again, we're teaching the nervous system to be strong and in control in any position. And the outcome in following those 4 steps, the symptoms you're dealing with ease, your locking reduces, you restore movement in the body, but you also progressively get stronger, thus moving as we should and more freely. And that's the end of the recovery phase. Now, after going through all that and you get back into the feedback loop, you really get in tune with your body. You understand that a certain movement causes your pain to flare up or causes a certain muscle group to really tighten. So what you're gonna notice is if you don't follow that feedback loop and go back to step 1 of recovery of breathing and safety, identifying what's going on in the body, you're going to notice your movement quality drops. You're going to feel like you're taking steps backwards. So one way to check is either you're dealing with more pain or it's more of a nervous system feeling a threat and feeling more guarded. So there's a big difference. Your nervous system is causing you to stop certain movements, like going to touch your toes and you feel that tight hamstring. That's your nervous system feeling guarded because it's not comfortable with you in that position. So if it's more pain or a threat felt, then yes, your pain raises guarding, as I just mentioned, okay? Then what you're doing is your nervous system and your brain predicts danger sooner, which leads to more locking, less variability. So in order to reduce more locking and less variability of your body and your muscles, you got to follow the recovery path. So again, reduce the threat by breathing in safety, restore motion in the hip, pelvis, and ribs. You want to rebuild control through progressive loading of strength exercises. You want to improve the tissue tolerance through isometric holds, and thus the outcome of that and being more in tune with your nervous system, your body, your diaphragm, your symptoms ease, locking reduces, and you're moving pain-free again. Now, if this is something that you guys are dealing with currently, send me a message on Instagram, Restore, and I'm going to send you my full protocol. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, click the link in the description to book a call today. Now, I don't accept everybody into my coaching program because it's more personalized, and I take that very seriously with accomplishing your goals. But if this is what you're dealing with, we got to fix the pattern, not the symptom. Fix your pain, find your purpose again, get moving again as we should.